Item: a man is seated in a football stadium with a small TV set tuned to the game. The sideline camera takes his picture, and his image travels through the lens, out of the camera, to the truck, to the satellite, to a ground station several miles away, back into the air, and then to the man's TV set. He sees himself on the screen. The image travels from his eyes to his brain. His brain sends a signal to his arm to start waving. The image travels to the camera, through the lens, to the truck, to the satellite, to another ground station 1,000 miles away, where it is retransmitted into the air and picked up by a cable company that sends it to the man's parents' TV set. The image travels from the screen to his mother's eyes along the optic nerve to her brain, where it references her memory and recognition takes place. Her brain then sends a series of signals to her lungs, throat, lips, and tongue, and she says, "Look, it's Mike!" Baseball is different from any other sport, and I mean really different. Just for starters, in an odd way, baseball is the only sport you cannot watch in a mirror sensibly. All the other sports are symmetrical. Basketball, football, hockey, you can watch them in the mirror. The numbers are backwards, but the games make sense. Baseball, not symmetrical. Guy hits the ball, he runs to third base. It's counterintuitive, spoils the game. And a home run trot is really interesting. Guy hits the ball, trots slowly around the bases in the wrong direction, and nobody gives a shit. Everybody cheers. But let's get more basic. Baseball is different from other sports in a number of other ways. First of all, in most sports, you score points or goals. Baseball, you score runs. In most sports, the ball or object is put in play by the offensive team. In baseball, the defense puts the ball in play, and only the defense is allowed to touch the ball. In fact, in baseball, if an offensive player touches the ball intentionally, he's out. Sometimes unintentionally, he's out. In most sports played with a ball, you score with the ball, and without the ball, you cannot score. In baseball, you score without the ball, and only the ball can prevent you from scoring. In most sports, the team is run by a coach. In baseball, the team is run by a manager, and only in baseball does the manager or coach wear the same clothing the players do. If you'd ever seen John Madden in his Oakland Raiders football uniform, you would know the reason for this custom. Now, I've mentioned football as well. Baseball and football are the two most popular spectator team sports in this country. And as such, wouldn't you think that maybe they might tell us a little about ourselves, about our qualities, our values, and perhaps how we have changed over the last 150 years? For those reasons, I enjoy comparing baseball and football. Baseball is a 19th century pastoral game. Football is a 20th century technological struggle. Baseball is played on a diamond, in a park, the baseball park. Football is played on a gridiron in a stadium, sometimes called Soldier Field or War Memorial Stadium. Baseball begins in the spring, the season of new life. Football begins in the fall when everything is dying. In football, you wear a helmet. In baseball, you wear a cap. Football is concerned with downs. What down is it? How many downs do we have left? Baseball is concerned with ups. Who's up? Are you up? I'm not up. He's up. In football, you receive a penalty. In baseball, you make an error. Whoops! In football, the specialist comes in to kick something. In baseball, the specialist comes in to relieve somebody. Football has hitting, clipping, spearing, piling on, personal fouls, late hitting, and unnecessary roughness. Baseball has the sacrifice. Football is played in any kind of weather. Rain, snow, sleet, hail, fog, can't see the game, don't know if there is a game going on, mud on the field, can't read the uniforms, can't read the yard markers, the struggle will continue. In baseball, if it rains, we don't go out to play. I can't go out. It's raining out. Baseball has the seventh-inning stretch. Football has the 2-minute warning. Baseball has no time limit. We don't know when it's going to end. We might have extra innings. Football is rigidly timed, and it will end even if we have to go to sudden death. In baseball, during the game, in the stands, there's kind of a picnic feeling. Emotions may run high or low, but there's not that much unpleasantness. In football, during the game, in the stands, you can be sure that at least 27 times you are perfectly capable of taking the life of a fellow human being, preferably a stranger. And finally, the objectives of the two games are completely different. In football, the object is, for the quarterback, otherwise known as the field general, to be on target with his aerial assault, riddling the defense by hitting his receivers with deadly accuracy in spite of the blitz, even if he has to use the shotgun. With short bullet passes and long bombs, he marches his troops into enemy territory, balancing this aerial assault with a sustained ground attack that punches holes in the forward wall of the enemy's defensive line. In baseball, the object is to go home and to be safe. I hope I'll be safe at home. I don't give a hoot. Not since 1959. That was the last one I gave. Well, I might have given a hoot in 1967. Just one, as a favor to a friend. But that was it. I'm not sure I even have any left. Frankly, I'd be afraid to look. I think I'm all out of hoots. If you want one, you're going to have to find it on your own. Maybe you could rent a hoot. Or steal one. I'll bet by now there's a black market in hoots, hot hoots. By the way, in addition to those who don't give a hoot, there are many others who will not take a hoot. Too proud. These are the same people who will not take any guff. But they might give you some lip. Athletes like that physical shit, you know? When they're pleased with each other, they bump chests and butt heads and bang forearms. Why don't they just punch each other in the fucking teeth? Wouldn't that be great? Teammates, I mean. After a touchdown pass, why doesn't the guy who caught the ball just go over and kick the quarterback right in the nuts? Same with the slam dunk in basketball. The guy who scores ought to grab a chair and beat the living shit out of the guy who fed him the ball for about 45 minutes. If this type of celebration were more common, the post-game show from the winner's locker room would be a lot livelier. And I also think there should be at least one sport where the object is to kill someone. A team sport. Death ball. Let's face it, athletes are mostly physical freaks with serious personality defects where competition is concerned, and they just love someone to motivate them. Well, what greater motivation can there be than trying to avoid being killed? It's a fucking natural. And for me, what could be more fun than watching one of these jack-offs motivate his ugly ass into an early grave every game? Here's another thing I love. Losing streaks. I wish some year a baseball team would lose 162 games. I especially like decades-long postseason losing streaks. In fact, as soon as my teams are out of the running, I start actively rooting for the Cubs, Red Sox, Bills, and Vikings to get as far as they can in the postseason so that ultimately they can let the big prize slip away one more time. I think it is infinitely more interesting a news story for a team to repeatedly fail at the highest level than it is for them to finally win. If the Cubs ever win a World Series, the news coverage will be the most boring bunch of shit you can imagine. Some people don't like puns, you know, or wordplay. I do. Anticlimax. That's what my uncle was good at. The game of chess. The peace movement. Seersucker. A person who blows clairvoyance. Passing gear. Clothing worn by light-skinned blacks who wish to be thought of as white. Outspoken. When you lose a debate. Hormone. The sound a prostitute makes so you'll think you're a real good fuck. Drug traffic. Driving to your connection's house. Sex drive. Similar to drug traffic, but with a different destination. Douche. a female duke. Octopus, an 8-sided vagina. Trampoline, a sexual lubricant popular with sluts. Parakeet, a keet that takes care of you until the real keet arrives. Pussyfoot, a rare female birth defect requiring the use of open-toed shoes. Beer nuts, the official disease of Milwaukee. Cotton balls, the final stage of beer nuts. Cowhand, an occupational disability common among dairy farmers. Woodpecker, a 17th century prosthetic device. Leatherette, a short sadomasochist. Cap pistol, a small gun that can be hidden in your hat. A gay barbarian, Attila the Hun.